Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure. I'm probably going to get this video in the line of videos because we're, again, having a delayed time factor in getting them up for you. This is the last video I'm going to do for about a week, so I'm going to try to get as much crammed in here as I can. You guys are keeping me hopping. Really appreciate, though, all your responses, your loving comments, and you guys are just kicking butt, and you're getting the knowledge. Some of you are working through some tough things. Some of you have made some choices in the past that you're finding out wasn't so good. Well, don't overfret about that. You know, the past is the past in your life. The medical doctors' days will be numbered in this way because they're using this concept of diseases and these toxic drugs to basically destroy the human race in a sense. You know, I mean, there's a lot of good things that happen, but there's a ton of bad things that's going on here. And so we really need to, and if you look at good and bad in that way, a lot of the spiritual people, of course, look at it as it just is. It's happening the way it is. It's the growth of consciousness. So, you know, we got to give love and all respect, but at the same time, we have to make some definite changes and some better understanding of the simplicity of health and actually the simplicity of your symptoms and what's going on here. And those of you that understand the lymph system and acidosis understand that. Because if you simplified it, it's just really a case of acidosis of the human body, which is a chemical state of dehydration, an anionic state of coagulation, where pain, swelling, the decay of cells take place, and the body's response to that with calcium, cholesterol, and edema, water. And you'll see that in every situation that exists. It's all just location, location, location. And some of you guys are just really getting this great. You're kicking butt. So, man, my heart goes out to all of you. Love you guys. We have a lady, Diane, from Michigan. She was a student in our school. She's a massage therapist doing tremendous work with the body. And I wanted to introduce her. She's going to sit in on this taping here. But come on in and say hi there. Yeah, come on in.
Hi, everybody out there. This is amazing, and it's a fabulous journey to be with Dr. Morse.
Thanks. She's sitting in getting clinicals here, and some of you that are actively practicing that want to sit in and get clinicals can do that. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, so I'm going to kind of tear into this, guys, and hopefully, again, if I don't get your questions answered, thank you, Drew. Thank you, my friend. Then you can definitely, if you're in a stat need or an emergency need and symptoms, you call in here. I appreciate those that are taking responsibility because we are getting a lot of calls. But we love you and we appreciate it. Don't get upset if you can't get in real quick, but we do appreciate this. You guys are asking some very good questions. Someone asked me a while back about maca. I don't overly familiar with that because it's a tuber basically. It's a starchy veggie. It has been shown to have some prostate and male regenerative properties, kind of an aphrodisiac type of thing. It's a starchy staple, if you will, prized by some, of course. I think when we come to the humans, we're talking about that 256-year-old Chinese guy. And one of the statements, and you can Google this, just Google 256-year-old Chinese man, and he'll come up for you. But one of the things he's known for saying that he doesn't eat anything that grows below the ground, and the higher off the ground you eat, the healthier you'll be. And when you think about that, that pushes you into the fruit and the berry category. So, interesting stuff. When you correlate all this down and all of you are getting on the fruits and berries, you're seeing tremendous results. And yeah, some people have to work through things, so don't get upset. We can't always make judgments when you're having a hard time going through detox. Our bodies are pretty advanced in their weaknesses for some people, pretty toxic lymphatically. Not too many people have clean lymphatic systems. I could probably count them in one hand worldwide. That's the problem. All right, so let's go into this so I can get your questions answered there, guys. This one comes from Matt, 5'9", 128 pounds. He's 118 now after doing the raw foods. Let's see. Let me see what he's looking here. He has achieved this yet forever. He's working on the raw food diet. He's in Canada. It's up there where it's really cold. There's no sun up there much, and he's wondering how he can get full spectrum lighting. And he's asking about tanning beds and things. And you see this controversy going right now about. Matter of fact, there's I don't know if you can call it a law. I think this color of law, but maybe a ordinance, if you will. But California, I think it was, is blocking tanning beds for teenagers and the like. The serious thing about it is, and you notice how I kind of follow the simplicity route. I could show you some pictures. I don't know if it'd be allowed on the internet too much, but some pretty grueling pictures of infrared treatments on the body and what that's done to tissue. And I'm just real cautious at isolating magnetics, and a good example is the tanning beds. I would say, you get as much direct or indirect lighting as you can. I think that's real important. There are full spectrum light bulbs and stuff that you can get in your house, and perhaps you could turn those on a little bit. You have to be careful because we tried that and everything started decaying like it was sitting out in the sun. So it was difficult. Our books were breaking down and our desks were breaking down, and so we couldn't use that. But you could use it for short periods of time like you use with your plants. Another question here is from, maybe this is Owen. Let me see here. He's been a heavy exerciser. I mean, really pounding the pavement. I mean, going out and pushing himself and pushing himself and pushing himself. And after a while, he started getting twitches, the quadricep spasms. Now he's having eye twitches. He's lucky he found raw foods 4 years ago, he said. Of course, his adrenals and kidneys are shot. You didn't say anything here, my friend, about protein pumping, but I take it you were eating some. And it's obvious that you shot your adrenals. Of course, you're aware of that, and your kidneys. But remember, this connects to the giant lymphatic system. And so when you're pumping this much activity, you're creating a lot of lactic acid. And we've talked about this before. It's okay to create lactic acid if you can remove it. If you can't remove it properly, then you're going to hurt, and time builds up. And then, of course, the effort of the body to counter this acidosis that you created a lot of is, of course, going to be with calcium or cholesterol. And this is the thing you have to be concerned with, in the sense is that the more activity of the human body and then the inability to remove these wastes creates just what everybody's suffering with, acidosis. And acidosis isn't a disease, it's a process, a chemical state where the body can decay in. And this, of course, is met by the body's defense mechanisms of seeking something base to counter it. It's that simple. There's only two sides to chemistry, so it's not a difficult in understanding this. And then, of course, the most base chemistry in the body is either calcium, or cholesterol. Cholesterol preferably, because that's the adrenal steroids primarily. But when the adrenals are down, the steroids are down, you're going to see the use of the cholesterol in the body, especially when the acidosis becomes systemic. It's a major fight that the body's in to keep itself from being damaged. You see this fight everywhere in chemistry. Acid and alkaline, acid and base chemistry, fighting each other, working in that homeostasis. But the homeostasis of the human body is generally 80-20. So this is what's happened to you. You've got extremely acidic, you reach calcium, now you're going into spasms and things. And you've got to get that back. I check my parathyroid too, just to make sure that you can utilize this better. You're going to have to recover, build your adrenals up, use some adrenal glandulars, or use the adrenal herbal tincture, if you will. Definitely you're doing right, getting on the raw. I like the fact that you're adding parsley and dandelion juice. Good take on that. Build up your adrenals. Oh, you're in Ireland. Well, you know what? Why don't you call Jennifer? We have Margie's a good friend. We have a couple of naturopaths over there that's been to our school. And Margie, she really gets it well. And so she's a naturopathic physician over there. You would call in here to Jennifer and she'll give you Margie's name and everything, but she will help you over there in Ireland. I'm supposed to come over there and see you guys. I've just been putting it off there. She comes over here quite a bit and sits with me, but why don't you talk with her, my friend, and she'll help you over there. If not, which she will, of course. But if you can't find her, which you should be able to, we have all her information here. But get on that raw, get on the kidney formulas, get on the lymphatic formula, and really start moving that lymph system, you know, and go after this acidosis that you created. But I would hit the parathyroid gland and get more calcium utilization. We have a lady from Holland, Shireen. Hi, sweetheart. Appreciate all your comments, honey. I really do. We're trying to get everywhere, and you know, different things are working out, and some things aren't. So we'll see. But that's why you're there. I'd like to connect with those in these different countries that really want to set up some healing centers, and I'll help you set them up. Not difficult, simple. And come to our school and sit here maybe and get some clinicals, and you're good to go. It's not difficult because we're not out there treating diseases. Let the medical doctors do that. It'll be their doom. We're about health and vitality of the human body, and of course spiritually as well, emotionally and mentally, health of the whole. So, you know, we let everybody else do their own thing here. Thanks a lot, my friend. You got me hooked from the start, but when you mentioned New World Order. Yeah, Jesse Ventura, I really like that guy. He's really, I hope he comes back with some new shows. I tried to get him to do something with the IRS. I don't know if he will. But to expose the criminal activities of the Internal Revenue Service. These guys, when the right people get in, these guys are going to have to go to jail a little bit and sit around and contemplate their nevo and get into their peaceful centers and stuff like that, because it's one thing to break the law, but then when you do it with the type of attitude they have, a butt kicking's coming. Not from me. I mean, you know, I'm part of that, though. There's another question. My wife, Belle, has had tumor in the right lung. Now, I've addressed this before, so that's on a previous video about that, getting heavy into the lung formulas, the 3-lung tea, really detoxifying the body. Get this out of there. She's on chemo, break for 3 months. I mean, I'm not going to go into that, Paul, but, you know, I've already did that on another video, man. your wife's going to get herself in deep trouble here, and, you know, people have to understand this isn't candy. Steve Jobs, you know what, a lot of people are dying that doesn't have to. You know, pancreatic cancer, very easy cancer for the individual to get rid of. And it, you know, I hate to even use the word cancer because it's such a misnomer. Remember, cancer is just a damaged cell by acids. I mean, the word, it's just how medical doctors and the medical community has interwoven this bullcrap consciousness of diseases, and then the FDA and everybody's loading up and spending our monies on rating people and everything else because they're making claims about diseases. I mean, this is insane, and you're going to see some major clashes coming. You know, I know what you think, Lion Man, but at the same time, you know, remember Michael. You know, this is creation. You know, you go have fun. You fight the bull, blow up a bank, and you go on. You have fun, but at the same time, you got to keep things in balance. Positive people are here to do that. And that's by being a channel for the Supreme Being, no question. But it also uses you as a vehicle. Never forget that. You know, you can let it use whatever, but it also is using you. Swollen lymph nodes means your kidneys and adrenals need more help. You guys are getting it. Danielle, you're helping everybody. I tell you, you guys are really getting this good, and I love that. I just love what you guys are doing. You guys are becoming great healers. And that's what this world needs badly. To get rid of the intellectualism and get simplistic attitudes and consciousness going here. To get rid of the intellectualism and get simplistic attitudes and consciousness going here. What's wrong with salads if many salad components, greens, are highly alkaline? Nothing really in the sense of health. If on a daily basis, if you were having a green drink or a big salad, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. you know, but if you're sitting in a clinical setting, you saw this yesterday, but people that have a lot of undigested matter in their stools, particularly salad matter. But we've seen this with watermelon and other things initially. But primarily when you have pancreatic weaknesses, salads don't do well because most animals that consume greens have 4 stomachs, a GI tract 30 times the length of their spine, and a heck of a set of grinders. And that's because of cellulose. We invented the juice extractor for that reason. So nothing wrong with them, but if you're detoxifying, and remember, this is our focus here is detoxification, leading to the world of vitality. But how interesting is this? If you're using fruits to detoxify and it's leading you to the highest levels of energy and detoxification, why would you eat anything else? Now, balance, basically, you know. Sometimes you have to ground to the earth. I say this, especially you spiritual guys who are really channeling the God force. A little balance is going to come into line here, and sometimes you have to ground to the earth a little bit. Okay, I've no judgment here on my part. I've had to do that many times. But when you're going after something and you're detoxifying, fruits, berries, and melons are at the top of that chain. There's no way to get around that. That's it. If you're having a difficult time, because when you start on fruits, it's a very aggressive energy, very aggressive enzymes, aggressive stringent. So you're going to feel your lymph system moving quicker, much quicker than vegetable matter. And of course, vegetable matter, you plateau. But in a healthy state, man, so what if you have some greens in a salad? We're talking about deeper tissue detoxification because some of you really need deeper tissue detoxification. You'll never achieve it with vegetables. Never. You can experiment all you want on yourself and you'll see this over and over. Many of you are. That's what's so cool about you guys. You're really wearing the robe. You guys are incredible. I love you all. Yeah, there's about that the splinters coming out the fingers. It's amazing. I don't know. How about as a youth? Did you get into some splinters as a youth or something? And who knows? If they're splinters, I don't know. It could be chemical metals that have coagulated in there and coming out. Yeah, could be. Who knows? Why are my hands always cold? This is the only relax. Why are my hands always cold? And why am I very sensitive to the cold? I've had reddish, sometimes purplish knees, elbows, ankles, ears, and cheeks. Wow. I have chicken skin. That's not good. All right, so what's your skin? That's your largest eliminative organ you had, right? And it's tied to your kidneys and your adrenals. So I would really go after my lymphatic system. There's a skin formula available. I'd work with that. Toning the skin, though, I would really take a look at the parathyroid in your case to see if you can strengthen connective tissue in the body. See if your veins are prolapsing or anything. See if you have any vascular wall weakness. So I'd really go after calcium utilization. That'll tone the skin and everything. Move those lymphs. That'll also tone, get this acid out of there. It'll quit leaching calcium out of you. Check your thyroid. Check your basal temperatures under your arms. They need to be 97.8 or above. But in today's world of thyroid weaknesses, I'll take 97.5 or 6. But that sounds like you got a little thyroid going on as well. Could have circulation, but I'd definitely go over lymph first. Really, that impacts circulation more than anything, and pick up that thyroid a little bit, and maybe do see what your blood pressure is. If it's a little high, maybe do a little cayenne garlic, move things around a little bit, see how you feel in that way. Thank you, Julie. This is about mucoid plaque in the GI tract, Arise and Shine. I think I already commented on this. Aloha. Ooh, I know where you're from. But, I like the guy from Arise and Shine. Like I said, he was at my last detox school. But, when you get real busy and you go to commercial herbs, you can get in trouble. And this is what happened to him. I feel sorry for him. But, man, you cannot use commercial herbs at all. Can't do it. There's just too much crap out there. But I like their products. They're good in that way. But you know what? That's what my bowel formulas do the same thing. Whatever you like, it's up to you. But anything cleans the mucoid plaque is the easiest. I think I discussed this before. Mucoid plaque is the easiest to clean off the bowels. Cleaning out diverticulums, bowel pockets and stuff, fairly easy. Raw foods can even do that to you. But it's in the wall. And that's the key. That's all the IBSs, all the polyps, all the Crohn's, leaky gut. I mean, this is all in the wall. Malabsorption in the wall. You can have plaque on the wall. And I've seen a lot of colonoscopies. But I can tell you that most of man's problems lymphatic, and that's interstitial, lymphatic, constipation. And that's in the wall of the GI tract, and that's the hardest. So that's why we have the stomach and bowel formulas, the GI broom. That's why we have use lymphatic 1 capsules to draw and pull. Very important, because we have to get that lymph moving. And you want to see mucus in your stools, mucus in your urine, mucus coming out your nose, everywhere. When you start detoxifying, you really want to see the body going after it there. Yeah, it's too bad that ABC, NBC, CBS, Lifeguard, yeah, I know. It's too bad. I mean, an awakening just needs to occur. That's all there is. And you see it now with all the Wall Street demonstrators and stuff. This country thought it was above demonstrations, and the cops are acting like the bullies that they are. You cannot assemble. It's unlawful assembly. This is America. You know, when we were, you're seeing Obama saying this about Libya and about Syria, about they're killing their own people. Let me tell you, you stand out against the American government and they'll start killing you. I guarantee you. I guarantee you the same thing would happen in this country when we stand up. Cops are just throwing them in jail now, but if it got more, we could have some serious problems. This country is not above that. These guys do not want to expose their criminal activities, and they'll do anything to shut us up. They allow us to assemble a little bit. I find that amazing stuff. I hope Baby Cakes is doing good, Miss Karen. I really do. I'm a dog lover myself. I have a little Shih Tzu, so I really love all animals. Why? I mean, that's really humility. Most animals are very humble, and no matter what you do to them, they still love you. That's the way one should be. Always give love. Always in the now. I love that picture of yours. It's a very it's etheric in the sense that the more bluish purple is the mental etheric, and then the yellow is the soul plane, where you originate basically as an individualized consciousness, not with the id yet, but beautiful that way. Why to stay away from cruciferous vegetables? Well, you know what? They definitely are sulfur-based. They cause a lot of gas. There's nothing wrong with them per se. Part of them are the nightshade families. I mean, they're okay. I mean, but if you have a lot of sulfur in the bowels and stuff, it can create additional gas and distress with you. Some of them have been known to suppress the thyroid. I don't know if that's true or not. Can't imagine it, but that's been some of the statements. But anything that's sulfur, heavy sulfur in it, tends to create gas and discomfort. Cabbages, stuff like this, you see that a lot. I know I do. I love cabbage. I love this eye of yours, sweetheart. You're so right about the communication and talking over someone's head. Yeah, I mean, what does that serve us? I think the art of communication is getting someone to understand how you see things, not to put you as separate from someone, because the whole idea is the oneness of all things in all life, and enjoy the beauty of humility and the individuality of it all, both together. The union of all things, and yet the individuality of all things. This planet hasn't got that yet. Yeah, thanks, Owen Fox. My man, thank you much for your comments there, guys. Joni, let's see, you have yourself a new fan. Oh, thanks, man. Jonathan, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate having new fans here. I appreciate it for all your time viewing these videos. And I also appreciate you guys that are tackling this and going after your health issues. You're finding some incredible things. Kelly, I'm proud of you. You just keep working this program. I mean, you have to understand what you're going after. The worst thing you can do is do it for someone else. As a practitioner, my job isn't to get you healthy. I've had people say, well, I'm putting my life in your hands. I say, don't put your life in my hands, because That's a heck of a statement for someone to say. I'm going to put my life in your hands. I'm going to trust everything you do. That's medical thinking. And look what that's led us. No, I don't want anybody to trust. I want you to know, because knowingness really creates action and your ability to find remedy. And that's the key. That's why we're more educators than anything. That's why I do these videos. It's about education, because the individual must walk the walk. That's why some of these masters that claim they'll take your karma away and something like that, I would be very leery of that individual, because that's not the scheme of things. No one would, in their right mind, no high being would do that. They might walk with you and put their arms around you as you walk down the road. Pinellas County, the county commissioners voted 4-3 to get rid of fluoride in the water. Are we growing in consciousness or what? That's just right up the road here. That's pretty cool. Yes, Lucy, I want to talk about this. You Lucy Rosepetal, you Google Cascara sacrata. You know, forget what the internet says about herbs. There's so much crap out there, it's bull. I've used Cascara sacrata. I looked at all the herbs that dealt with helping the body to have better peristalsis. I studied them for years, and I can tell you Cascara is the nicest one of them all, because most of them are very purgative, or very aggressive, and very addicting, like buckthorn, turkey rhubarb, senna. You know, and I did use a little senna pot in my number 5, but I did enough to where it is not addicting. But you got to be careful, because after my number 5, you get into addiction. That's not the goal. The goal isn't to purge the bowel and to overstimulate, like with coffee enemas. That's not the goal. Because when you overstimulate, you have innervation. It's like running down the road real hard, and now you have to stop and relax. If you paced yourself, you can go much further, because you're finding you're going down that middle path, like the Buddha said, the middle path, and that's the path to go down. Balance. That's the key. You notice chemistry isn't all base chemistry. It's blood 7.4. That's not real high base. So the key is always balance, you know, in that way. The Cascara sacrata, I love it. I've never, and I literally, our herbs are used worldwide and have been for 30, 40 years. And I've never, ever, and we see a lot of blood work, never seen any damage from any of our herbal formulas from anyone. Matter of fact, we have just the opposite. Most people get rid of their problems. I've never seen anybody have problems with them. I mean, there are a couple people that have had an anaphylactic shock to certain things within the herbs, but I think I've only had 3 people in 40 years. I mean, come on, that's not bad at all. When you look at the pharmaceutical world, that's like shocking. The death rate. We accept a certain amount of kill ratio in the allopathic community. Nurses have a certain kill ratio, believe it or not. Well aware of those things. The medical doctors seem to have an unlimited kill ratio. But there, you know, there's a point where the eyes start raising and saying, wait a minute, you're killing too many people. Pharmaceutical companies the FDA doesn't seem to care. They would rather raid somebody over raw milk or about supplements making some claims, as opposed to pharmaceuticals that are killing people. It's okay, you can kill 20% of your people, 10% of your people. You can give 20% of your people heart attacks and strokes. It's okay, because you're doing wonderful work with the pharmaceuticals. Now, who's saying that? Who's really bringing that up? The pharmaceutical companies? I mean, these guys, serious karma. Really bad stuff going on there. And the FDA's got its chest out and backing up the kill ratios and stuff of this. And this is sickening. This is revolting. I mean, these guys, serious karma. Really bad stuff going on there. And the FDA's got its chest out and backing up the kill ratios and stuff of this. And this is sickening. This is revolting. This is our own government agency that's setting itself doing this. You know, there's been a lot of FDA whistleblowers that have come out and said the truth about the FDA, and it's staggering. We need to prosecute them. I mean, this is stuff. I know what you think, Lion Man. I gotta think both sides here, man. But never do you see hepatitis or anything like that with liver damage, and you don't get dependency on it. But then again, it could also be about dosages, Lucy. I mean, a lot of people do take things to the extent, over. But I've even never seen this. I really never have. But then you realize how we're doing everything together. We're doing the diets, we're doing the herbs, we're doing everything as one. It just, when you do everything as one, everything is good. People that are half doing things, or people that overdo one or two herbs, possible as a single herb. If you were really shucking down Cascara sagrada, I suppose anything in high tannins and alkaloids are going to hurt you, but you would have to massively do it. Comfrey, you would have to massively consume comfrey for it to hurt you. Comfrey is the famous herb that ranks up there with golden seal. So, the FDA doesn't know what it's talking about. This is one question asking me about if I'm addressing heart disease. Many doctors say that a low-fat, plant-based diet, heart disease is non-existent and in fact reverses. Yeah, that's just what you're doing here. The best thing for the heart here, and you hit you guys are really getting interstitial lymphatic stagnation. I love you, Mark. Think of the heart as simply an organ with 4 chambers in it, and a gate or a valve between each two. This is where you hear the mitral valve, the tricuspid. These are valves that simply open up and let blood flow into one chamber to another chamber. Blood comes in, goes to the lungs, gets oxygenated, goes out to the body, comes back into the heart, goes to the pulmonary and gets oxygenated, etc., etc. So in this, just like every other tissue in the body, all the heart is a bunch of cells. And where you have a bunch of cells, you're always going to have the 2 fluids. And obviously the 2 fluids is one's blood and one's lymph. So when blood doesn't flow well, we call that ischemia or a heart attack or stroke or whatever. Decay, damage, you can go on down that line. The second, if the lymphatic system doesn't move well, then we call that congestive heart failure, or hypertrophy of the heart, the swelling of the heart. It could be the swelling of the prostate, prostatitis. Any itis is going to give you swelling and hypertrophy, enlargement. But you also have a nervous system in the heart that obviously controls the depolarization or the opening of the valves. So you have blood, nerve, and lymph everywhere in the body, but even the nervous system depends on blood and lymph. So the bottom line has always been blood and lymph. But when you look at the nervous system in the heart, you're also going to go to the adrenal glands, because that's your neurotransmitters, that's systolic blood pressures, your cardiac punch. So you're going to go to the adrenal glands and you're going to work on that. Obviously, when the lymph system builds up, you see inflammation or you see acidosis, you see swelling. That can affect nerve flow or blood flow, or both. If your shoulders get real tight and stiff, you'll notice how you'll get numbness down your hands, or your hands will turn blue. That's because the lymph system is swelling and closing off flow of energy. Again, if you kept this simple, obstruction is really the key factor of most diseases. Because anytime you block the flow of energy, you could call that dis-ease. And so the flow of 3 flows of energy in the body is blood, nerve, and lymph. You don't want to block either one of them. Nerve is fairly quick, blood is fairly quick in your awareness of it. Lymph is a longer, more accumulative, more painful experience. Even though nerves will numb you and stop the function of things, blood will have some pain in the beginning, but then it'll kill on the other side of it. So in all heart issues, berries and fruits are the key actually to vascular health and blood health, not vegetables. Fruits and berries, it's how you keep the blood thin, it's energized, it's how you keep blood cells separate instead of coagulating or sticking together. It's common to see your blood cells following each other like choo-choo trains, attaching to each other or clustering. That's from these high acidic, enzyme-less diets. So really, fruits, berries, and melons, high in flavonoids, which strengthen the integrity of the vascular system. So in all heart issues, fruits, berries, and melons are still going to come up there being the highest foods possible. You're always going to move lymph, you're always going to fix the kidneys, and you're always going to work on the adrenal glands, which translates into the autonomic nerve health. And that's nerve health here. Now, the thyroid does affect heart rate. So you're definitely going to work on the thyroid and the health of the thyroid, but when you go and look and say thyroid, you also have the parathyroids, and calcium is a vital constituent to nerve health. So, and not only connective tissue, but bone. People have mitral valve prolapses or heart murmurs, have weak valves. This is calcium utilization problems, the same with connective tissue. So, if you look at this, the simplicity of this is you're going after all the cells of the human body and making them healthy. Because if you wander too far from that, you're separating from that and going like medical doctors to individual symptoms, and you're getting confused because now it takes you away from the whole. You must incorporate the whole when you look at the part. You always have to do that. And when you do that, you're always successful because you always have to detoxify. That's why it's the golden key. Remember, the end result of detoxification is regeneration of tissue. And that's the ultimate goal here. I'm sure I'm not going to get to a lot of you, and I certainly apologize. I'm doing best. Hard to explain things real quick because really what I'm saying relates to all your questions. So forgive me if I don't get to them when I get back from a couple of days R&R. I'll get to you, back to you. This individual, Laco, is doing predominantly grapes, then some apples, lettuce, sometimes drinks a fresh juice. The problem is that the stools look like chewed fruit, and from time to time gases occur. Well, you're not digesting your carbohydrates, man, and that goes back to the pancreas. I would suggest not using digestive enzymes unless you really, really, really have to. I suggest that you super chew, even chew your juice. You know, put it in your mouth, eat slower, eat less, more often. And get some good pancreatic herbs and work on my pancreas. At the same time, you're going to clean your lymph because you're going to go after why does the pancreas fail to perform? Why does any cell fail to perform outside of genetic memories? And even if we trace genetic memories back, how do you weaken a cell in the first place? And that's going to take you right back to blood and lymph again, but predominantly lymph over blood. So he's got energy, he's losing weight, it looks like absorption is okay. Well, absorption is different than digestion. And you've got a good take on it. I'm glad you said that. Digestion, that seems to be where your problem is, but that's right there at the gate of a horse race. You know, you're right there at the gate and you fail right there, so go after that digestion of the pancreas and stuff like that, and you'll do well, okay? But I would chew a lot more and eat less, and get your saliva digestive enzymes on them as if you're having pancreatic enzymes, same ones basically. About 20 years ago I had the flu. I didn't let the body recover and it involved into pneumonia. Took the usual mega doses of antibiotics and I was left with a nagging problem, sinus fatigue, neurological tingling. Ooh. The doctors, of course, then operated on my sinuses. And then she had full anesthesia, but the symptoms continued. Of course they continued. I mean, this is what these guys don't get. Then because they were bewildered, I bet they were. Those butchers, ooh, yeah, I could use that word, did a biopsy and cut out a huge chunk of lymph and surrounding tissue. Oh, man. Well, they could have removed your face, but, you know, I mean, that's, oh, man, you know, this is the kind of thing that's out there. I feel sorry. I mean, this is what's out there. Sorry you're a victim of that. I spent the last 20 years trying to reclaim my health. Well, go for it, Mr. Truth Forever. You're a good guy. You really go after this. You know what the problem is right now. Simple mucus congestion, and they rip out half the guy's face. I mean, this is the thing. So you go after your lymph. You move that lymph. Get yourself in a cationic environment, a base chemistry environment. Get up on the high diet of fruits and berries. Dig deep in there, because if this is that old, you got a lot of coagulation. You got a lot of anionic environments there where this stuff is probably solidified up in the sinus and brain area. Going to take you a little while to work it out. Don't get frustrated. Use some neti pots. Use some 3-lung tea. Use the breathing treatment there, or drink it. Herbs that loosen up hard sputum and stuff. And really start breaking this stuff up. Work on your transverse bowel, though, I'll tell you right now, and get into your kidneys and adrenals and move lymph. And just go down that road and you'll get it. They should have did that to you years ago. But, I mean, that's the path of this planet. So I'm a little hard on it sometimes because I'm like Lion Man. I mean, if you can detach yourself completely and that. But when you're working in this every day and the people that suffer, you know, I sometimes get pulled into that world, you know. Let me me see. This is the Funky Boo Boo Nuts, and then it's Dahlia. I see you talking to each other here. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I love you all, guys. Really, I'm reading all your comments here. If I don't comment, I apologize, but I am reading all your comments here. The type of toothpaste we use at home is bicarbonate, baking soda type. We sell it here in the pharmacy here. I'm going to come out with my own toothpaste here, but some type of bicarbonate, you know, with some astringents like white oak bark and stuff to super clean the teeth. Peaceful love. I'm from Gothenburg, Sweden. Yo! Boy, I wish you guys hadn't signed that codex. We could get herbs into you better. I tell you, these governments are so suppressive now. It's amazing. People just think they're okay until they start getting into areas like this, and you can't get your herbs. Even in Germany, that's an insult to the German people. Passing through. Thank you for passing through, Troubled Pictures. Thank you much. Thanks for answering. Thank you much, guys. A girl I knew said she did someone else's detox diet and is scared of detoxing because she lost chunks of hair and had problems with her iron levels. Could you please address these issues and how your program addresses them? Well, I don't know the program you went on. I've seen a lot of detox programs, and a lot of them don't consider the kidneys or anything else, and sometimes they're aggressive, too aggressive in certain ways. And I remember I explained to you my first client back 40 years ago was a young lady that lost all her fingernails. She was from New York. Read about an ashram down in the Bahamas, went down to an ashram, a yoga ashram, and spent about 3 months meditating and detoxifying in a fruitarian lifestyle, and her fingernails fell off. Well, this is detoxification. And I asked her, I said, you didn't have strong fingernails at all, did you? And she said, no, my fingernails have never been strong. Keep in mind, when you put yourself at the top of the mountain, your body's going to go woohoo, and you're going to lose tissue because your body's house cleaning. And what's weak goes. So I brought her into a balance there, and man, she grew wicked finger. I thought they were fake, but they were like major strong. And it was like the body got rid of the weak and replaced it with the insane strong. And that's what you're going to see if you hang in there. Yeah, some people's bodies are going to go down, but that lady's hair would grow back. You know, if she would balance out. Through these years, I think my detoxification process is more balanced than most people's. The kidneys are not considered by many, and so really, I like mine. Once in a while we have these problems, but it's generally they have these problems first, and it takes me a while. I've had ladies in here, their hair's falling out. It takes me a few months to stop that and to reverse that. But even as fast as we are, I think we do it so balanced that you don't see a lot of this. But you could definitely see, because your body's going to get rid of the weaknesses. That's what you have to understand. Low iron levels, I couldn't tell you unless you know what was going on, what kind of detox that was. We don't see that. We see the opposite. If anything, you're going to see low protein in the urine. Oh, is that bad? Oh, yeah. They tell you on dialysis, like the guy yesterday. You know, he's a famous chef, and Chef Arthur, and he. You know, he's on dialysis, but he was peeing until he went on dialysis. Then dialysis is such a toxic procedure that, of course, he quit peeing because it does nothing for your lymph system. It just takes into the consideration of the blood. And so they're always on his phosphorus, but then they tell him to eat protein. And so they're always on his phosphorus, but then they tell him to eat protein. You eat protein is phosphorus. It's amazing. Amazing stuff. Good comment to Kelly there. Raw food for my life. Good comment to Kelly. I mean, that's you go after that and get yourself. May Freaky, let's see, I've read that when you have an acidic lifestyle and we gain fat, the acids go into the fat because the body's trying to keep it away from the major organs. Well, this is possible. I know that a lot of chemicals are stored in the fat. Doesn't people like to eat the fat in animals or something? And due to this, when looking at the health of a fatter person versus a skinny person, both with acidic diets, the fatter person is healthier because the skinny person's acids have no... You know what? I've never thought of it that way. You gave me a new thing to think about. In all these years, I've never thought about that, to tell you the truth. I've always seen fatter people more unhealthy, to be honest with you. Skinnier people live longer, from what I see here. Fatter people are having a ton of problems. But I don't know. You know, you might be right with that. Once you go to McDonald's and get fat and sick, you check that out for me, man, and let me know. But I know your lymph system, and of course fats are a very protective agent, so you're going to see a lot of metals and stuff in fats. I'm sure that's an issue there. But whether it stores it in fat cells or not, I'm not sure. I don't know of any clinical thing to that, but possible. I'm so glad you didn't sell your practice to that lady. Thank you. Thank you, May Ricky. She didn't work out too well. Well, but, you know, I don't think they're going to let me retire. But you guys are the next naturopaths on the block. You all right now, a lot of you deserve the degree already. You guys are better than most of the naturopaths out there. Isn't that disgusting? I mean, not for you, but it's disgusting for me in my world of naturopathy, because we've been insulted by states. We've been our rights removed from us. The medical doctors just smearing our mud by owning naturopathic schools and by this curriculum of treatment. You saw in the news where, now, you got to remember these let's see, it was one of the news agencies, Walter Cronkite, and I can't remember which one, but they 60 Minutes, and they did a special on double-blind studies. And what the bottom line on that one was is whoever supports the double-blind study generally always wins. I mean, it was really a good look at double-blind studies that these medical doctors are always saying, look at this double-blind study. Well, 60 Minutes really exposed the fallacy of that and the ridiculousness of that, of these double-blind studies. Some of them done in a little old medical doctor's office with the wrong set of people and only a handful of people. I mean, it's just on and on and on about that kind of stuff. Really what's important is how it works clinically. Now, what success are you having to cure or to eliminate one's symptoms? How do you get someone healthy and vital? That's what's key, not double-blind studies and playing with that, because we're playing in fields that are unnecessary. It's such an intellectual game, it's not even funny. And so it bars them. But this naturopathic consciousness out there is disgusting, and I just happened to pick this up, and I went to a naturopathic school, and halfway through my course they began changing the curriculum to make it more acceptable. You know, I didn't even read this one. I just picked this one up. How interesting. Yeah, thank you, Supreme Being. Acceptable to the allopathic model. That's what the problem is. You're not going to compromise truth because maybe some people don't like it. I know some of you probably get mad at me, but you know, I don't compromise what I tell you. I tell you like it is, and what I've experienced, it is what it is, you know. I find that sad, you know, to fit. We want to fit in. We don't want to fit in. We want truth. We want health. We want vitality. Give it to me straight, man. I tell you, you come to see me, that's the problem. I'm going to give it to you straight. Because if you don't get it straight, you're not, you know, that's disempowerment. So many of you know me, and I don't really cut too many corners. You know, I try to put some sugar on it, but I cut pretty straight here. So in the end, they were just about pushing product. Oh man, it's a naturopathic school here. See, that's disgusting. I ended up learning more from my own study and life experience, and you will. I mean, I went to school, but I tell you what, I've studied and made myself, and I wanted to be the knower here, and so that's going to make you a very good naturopath, my friend. Fruit fairy, yes, you will do well learning on your life experiences and reading the masters than anything. Yes, you will make the best naturopath there. I'm saving up to do your course. Sure, you'll be fine. You'll do well. You get this, and this is naturopathy. What I'm teaching you is true naturopathy, and not difficult. And you don't need to have 10 years of studying crap that you'll never use or remember. or pronounce. Love the iridology lesson. Thanks a lot, my friend. Eric, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I think someone was asking about a mineral supplement. You're right, it was a mineral supplement. I wasn't familiar with that. I'm familiar with people coming in and asking me about it, especially the volcanic ash and stuff like that, and the cell food and all that kind of stuff. I'm familiar with that. I, again, don't get into the elementals. I think they're the hardest on the human body. They're low in their magnetics. They don't absorb well through the GI tract, and so we develop chelation. So where we wrap an amino acid around a mineral, time to go, but and then get it into the body. Well, when the body doesn't want to absorb something, I think that's an indication, given that there's no malabsorption issues. This was an interesting I read. This guy was poisoned by his juicer a few months ago. The juicer malfunctioned and it blended liquid plastic into my juice. He drank this, or she, Mark, you drank this. Oh my God! To keep it short, my tongue now feels congested and blocked. It's only on my tongue. How do I clean this out? I would definitely get some heel all tea here, and I would do a lot of holding it in my mouth and spitting it out. And I would do a lot of holding these herbs in my mouth. I'd probably also do the 3-lung tea herbs. They're very expectorant types. They break up hardened sputum and stuff, and I would definitely do a lot of mouth washes and holding it in my mouth and spitting it out. That's for darn sure. Especially locally here, I'd really get on that detoxification and really pull I'd use the GI broom, maybe even some type of bentonite charcoal mixture, and really start pulling and cleaning my lymph. But I'd do a lot of mouth washes and stuff and spit it out. Just pull that out. A lot of astringents and pull that out of my mouth. Man, oh, that's horrible. Where does sweat come from? So I go into a sauna. Oh, sweat. So I go into a sauna and sweat it out. Does the sweat come from the lymph? Well, yeah, the skin is tied to the lymph. If you look down subcutaneously, this is the big lymph bed. And this bed. So yes, that's another case for having water. Definitely helps to sweat and move lymph out, but it isn't just water. You're sweating out acids. And yeah, absolutely. That's why you clean your body after you sweat. Absolutely. Yep. That's why you sweat, Mark. But my God, that's horrible. Liquid plastic from a juicer. That's horrible. Get it cleaned out, my friend. I'm going to get more into iridology, I promise you. For Indiana Banana, when I get back, I'll set you up here and I'll do your eyes over this and show you there. Mental thoughts creating disease. Absolutely. Any obstruction to the flow of energy causes dis-ease. Any obstruction to the flow of energy. If you consider the primal flow of energy pure consciousness, and anything that obstructs pure consciousness would be considered a form of dis-ease in a spiritual sense, and thoughts would be considered an obstruction to the flow, because it takes your awareness and narrows it down to an isolated focus, and that is a big difference. It's easier to observe a lot of things as it is to think of a lot of things at the same time. You can only think of one thing at the same time, but you can observe a million. So, yeah, I mean, stop thinking, like Louise Hay. Yeah, absolutely. Just stop thinking. I disagree that all diseases are from the mind in that sense. I mean, you could look from that perspective and say that, but I'm very hooked with a lot of spiritual people, and there's a lot of super positive thinkers. There's only a few that can manifest astrally into this world, but there's a lot of pure positive thinkers, and I've never seen one completely eliminate disease out of their body. I've never, and I use that word disease, and I want to spit it out and choke on it. Acidosis. You're in a physical world, you have physical laws, and you must follow the physical universe. The mental world has mental laws, and you follow that universe. The trouble is they're so intermingled that we think the mind can, we can move that. And we do create with the mind, no question. But we also have a process of that, and you have to be in line with the laws, because there are the natural laws of each universe that you can't go around. I don't know too many people that go around them. I know people that can manifest, but there's only a few masters that have been able to manifest it from the astral world into this world. It manifests, but it takes time and through a process. Very few can pull this out immediately. So yeah, positive thoughts, but you're still using your mind. And in consciousness, thoughts of any nature, negative or positive, is an obstruction. It doesn't matter which side of the force, basically. Lion Man was saying this today. It doesn't matter which side of the force you're on. You're still on one side or the other, meaning you're still in creation. And if you want to get into these higher levels of consciousness and of God, you can't be for or against or be involved in either side of it. Yeah, it's my time's up. Okay, so I'm going to pull this right now. Thanks, Kathy, for that. Thanks, all of you, for your comment. This one person drank massive amounts of milk and stuff. Unbearable cramps. You see, the body wasn't even utilizing the calcium out of milk, was it? So now you're on grapes and stuff. Head on down the road, my friend. Keep detoxing. If you've been on massive amounts of milk, you have a massive lymphatic problem. So you're going to have to work yourself out of that. And a lot of mucus is coming out because you put a lot of mucus in. And so I've got to run here. But I love you all, and thank you so much. Thank you for sitting in, Diana, for this. And we appreciate all of you, and have fun on your journey here. Make it a fun thing. Even if you're hurting, pull back from your physical body. Don't be your physical body. Don't let your physical body control your joy and your happiness. You be your joy and your happiness. If you got a hurting body, fix it. And I'm giving you all the tools here to fix it. Might take you a little while for some of you, but okay. But there is a remedy. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and keep focusing on that. But don't keep following that. Be in the light always. Be in the love and joy always, and then you don't have to worry. You don't have to, someday I'll be healthy and I'm working to it, but I'm suffering. No. Your body's the one going through it. No one told you about the laws of the universe. And so you're learning the truth now. You're learning about the natural laws of nature and what the body's designed to eat. It's going to take you a while to rebuild these bodies, but at the same time, you must learn to be in that eternal now where joy and ecstasy or nirvana exists. And it's as easy as letting go of the mind and emotions, if you can think that's easy. See you later. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you in about a week. Thank you. Bye-bye.